We have so much participation today, and we know why, because we have our amazing John Stein, AVP for Student Life, and Brand Fritz, Dean of Students Chair, joining us today for our What's Buzzing. So welcome, everyone. And awesome. If you have questions, we will try to take some as we move along, but I know Dean Stein wants to move through his material, as efficiently as possible. So with that, we will kick it off. Dean Stein, we will let you take over.
Perfect. Thank you. Greetings from Georgia Tech and from my office here at Tech, and thank you for joining today. Want to spend a little bit of time just talking about where we are in the semester and kind of prepping you a little bit for those of you that your students will be returning home after the semester for a period of time before, unless they're graduating or going abroad or someplace, will be coming back for spring semester. So let's go to the next slide, please. So I always start with kind of helping you understand where we are currently in the process of the semester and stuff. So after today, we have 6 class days left. That's it. 2 this week, 2 next week, 2 the week after. All right. And then classes will be officially over. And then we will move into our reading days and exams. Phase 1 registration for returning students is going on now. It has been going on since November 11th and will continue until December 13th. That works with a time ticket that students receive to initially go in, and then they can go back in and rework some things as time goes on. But this is for phase 1. Phase 2 registration will happen right before the spring semester is going to start. Next week, the students are off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The Institute is closed Thursday and Friday, and that is obviously no classes. And so they'll be able to either be here, they don't have to leave, our residence halls remain open, and there'll be dining facilities and stuff, but many of them will leave. Our final instruction days are December 2nd and 3rd. We will then have a reading day, which is a day to prep for final exams. And then we will move into a stretch of final exams from December 5th until the 12th. Okay. Very, very important that students check and double check when their exams are, date and time. Okay. I'm going to tell you that inevitably every semester we have students that run into the dean's office saying, I missed my final. I thought it was tomorrow and I learned it was today, or I thought it was this afternoon and it was actually this morning. So just if you have conversations with them, ask them to check and double check. It's all online, easily accessible as to when their final should be. And typically faculty will even remind them that the final for this class is on this day, this time, okay? And then we move into an exciting time, commencement for those that are graduating on that Friday and Saturday. On the 17th, grades are available online, okay? And if you see my little reminder in the box, you will not receive your student grades. You will not have access to them. Okay, so that is a conversation between you and your student in terms of how the semester has gone and how they fared academically. No one person on the campus can give you that information. No faculty member, not myself or anyone else. It really has to come from your student, okay? Then students will be home or someplace, and then our first day of classes for spring semester is January 6th. Okay, so that just helps kind of frame where we are currently, where we're heading, and then when the spring semester begins. Next slide, please. But I also want to remind you that this time of the semester is a very, very stressful point in the term. Okay. Students will say it's crunch time. They'll say it's a very stressful time. They will put their heads down and, really work through whatever they need to in terms of final papers, labs, studying for quizzes, tests, Many of them will have their last round of exams either last week, this week, and then they will wait until the final exam, right? So we know it's a very stressful time. And so our Center for Mental Health Care and Resources is available to students. A student can always make their way in there and ask to see a counselor. They can go in for a same-day appointment or, set up an appointment for, the next day or 2 days. So they should take advantage of that if they are completely overwhelmed, all right? My office, the Dean of Students office, is also a place that they can come in and just talk to someone, regarding any concern that they have or a connection to academic support. At this point in the term, what I would say is the best kind of support that can exist for a student is their faculty member and their TAs, right? Those are the people closest to the material and the work that they've been doing all along. And so they really need to reconnect with them. That's the message we've been giving, that they need to talk to their faculty, talk to their TAs about whatever they need to let them know. Okay. Now we do realize that things come up. Okay. Emergencies happen, students get ill, things like that. So if anything plays out between now and the end, or even during finals, they should contact my office and let us know what's going on. Okay. And then we will help them problem solve that with their faculty. Okay. At some point, we will need documentation, either from, the health clinic, if, God forbid they had to go home for the loss of a relative or whatever. Eventually, we're going to need documentation of that. But we can assist, we can get word out to their faculty and let them know, right? Now, what I always say to students is that we do that, but they should also do that, okay? Unless they're not able to because they're in a hospital or whatever. But otherwise, they should really get online and contact their faculty and just say, I'm dealing with whatever it is. Now, they don't have to get into the details of something. They can just say a family emergency. They could say a medical situation. They don't have to get into the specifics of it, but they should notify their faculty. And if they've notified my office, then they should go to and say, I've notified the Dean of Students office. That helps for people to kind of know, the faculty to know that they are actually working with us. So next slide, please. So academic support, what I want to remind is that we do have a wonderful tutoring program here that's either online or in person. Students can go right online and set up a tutoring session. We also have group sessions that they can, be a part of. All of that is in the Clough building. We have peer-led undergraduate plus sessions. So there's plenty of support that exists for students at any point in this semester, including this time. We have academic coaching, okay? So if they need to sit down with someone and just talk through certain things, they can do that, all right? And so the place to go would be the link at the bottom, success.godtech.edu, which would give you all of the resources around academic support and academic success, right? So that's a place for them to look. That's a place for you to look. But it's never, ever too late to get help, okay? We want to really re-impress upon students. It's never, ever too late to get help, even at this point. Students who are trying to contact my office can do that one of a number of ways. They can call the office, they can come into the office, they could email one of the deans, including myself, and just let us know what's going on. All right, so there's many different ways that they can notify us. Next slide, please. So let me just give you like 10 points of advice as your student returns home after a semester. Okay, one of the first things that I want to say is just allow them to rest. There's the time between now and the end of the semester is a time where they will be burning the oil. They will be spending hours studying and finishing things up, especially during finals week. Usually when they get to the end, to the finish line, and they're exhausted. So it's not uncommon for me to hear from families like he or she came home and they slept for 10 hours. And yes, they're tired. They've been working hard. And so just in the beginning, allow them, to rest, okay, to just take some time. All right. Be flexible about your time together. It's not that you just have 2 days, you have a number of weeks. And so there's got to be a nice balance between, the time that they can have for themselves, the time that they can have for their friends, and then the time that you'll share as a family. Okay. Support their transition. And what I'll say is that, your students might come home, looking, feeling, thinking, acting a little different. Okay. They've been away from you and they've grown up a bit and they've been on their own. And, they should just be aware of that. And what I would say is avoid statements like, "Oh, you've changed." All right. Because if I say something like that, it leaves a lot of space for interpretation. Is that a good change, a bad change? But just know that, they have experienced independence. And so some of it is that they, you know, are feeling and acting differently. Okay. So just, and some of you that have had students who have gone off and come back, you probably maybe experienced this already. Celebrate their achievements. Okay. Even before grades come in and are posted, celebrate the fact that they made it through the semester and whatever year they're in, their first semester, their first year, their fourth year, whatever it is, but celebrate the achievements that they and the kind of both professional and growth that they've experienced over the time. Respect their privacy. Okay. Again, they've been living on their own here. And I think they might want, it gets a little bit tricky when they go back home. And, you're asking, where are you going? When will you be back? Or entering their rooms and stuff because they're just not used to that anymore. So just kind of find that right balance, as a family. Acknowledge their growth, okay? Goes a little bit back to, what I said about achievements and stuff. But, if they really talk about this wonderful experience they've had, if they talk about this wonderful, leadership opportunity that they were a part of, just to really be, acknowledge that and say, like, we're really proud of you and stuff. Plan together, right, what you're going to do as a family. And, what kind of activities you're going, and what are your expectations in terms of them being home and being a part of family events and having dinners together and things. I would talk about finances, ask them, how, the semester went as far as finances and stuff, and, how they were able to manage that and see what they say. Celebrate being together. Just, holidays are times and just the end of a semester is time just to be in the company of each other. And then encourage goal setting for next semester and beyond. What would you like? And by that, when I say encourage, maybe it's just asking some questions. Like, what do you want to accomplish next semester? Or, what would you do differently next semester than, say, this semester that you were a part of? Okay. Have you thought about what you might do this summer? Are you going to be looking for an internship, or you're going to be taking classes, or you're going to work, right? These kinds of things. What I will say is point 11 is just do not let the first discussion that you have and the first question that you ask is, what were your grades? Okay, do not go there. Okay, give them a chance to just be home and really be a part of things, but I would not get into these kinds of conversations so soon. All right. Okay, so those, and I believe that's all I had in terms of slides. Yes, you can go to the next one. Yes. All right. So I know there's a number of questions and stuff. And so, Ashley, if you want to walk me through some of those, I'm happy because I really want to give people what they want as far as information. So,
Yes, I can. So this first question says if a student falls suddenly sick and cannot go to the doctor and there's a test the next morning and Stamps has an doesn't have any appointments or the dean is not available, what can be done to inform the teacher of the reason for absence during the test?
yeah. So again, all right. So a great question, a great point. So here's what I would say. All right, I'm the student. I need to, be seen. I call over the health center. They don't have any appointments for that day. All right, I should set up an appointment for whenever they can get me in. Okay, if it's really something that I need to attend to, they should go to a local urgent care that's close to the campus. All right, but if I can wait and get to the health center, then they will give them some documentation, even if it's just that they came into the health center. But in the meantime, they should email their professor and they should say that I am ill and I am going to, Georgia Tech's health center, and I've notified the dean's office. And then they should also notify us, okay, that they are ill and that they have missed a test, okay? Our response back will be, okay, we will need documentation. So when you get the documentation from the health center, just make sure that you send it to us. Okay, and eventually we send out a statement to the faculty members saying that we have the documentation. Okay, but students should always notify their professors. They don't have to get into the details because of privacy and HIPAA, but they can say that, I'm dealing with a medical situation or I'm ill. Okay, they don't have to give a diagnosis. Right? So I hope that helps.
This next question says, I've heard that mental health appointments are booked for the rest of the semester. Is this true?
Not true at all. Not true at all. I just met with the director of the center, and let me explain that, we have a number of same day appointments available, okay, for students. So if I am really overwhelmed and I feel like I need to talk to somebody today, I can go to the center and I can go in and I can say, I really need to see someone today. Okay, we have appointments and we have staff that are freed up to wait if a student comes in. Now, what I'm told at this point is the furthest out for most students is 2 days from the day that they come in till the time that they can get them in. So if I went in today, the goal would be hopefully by Friday, I would have an appointment in the Center for Mental Health. Okay, that's what's out there, but I can reassure you it is not true. I check on this every day. However, what I do want to say is that as I said, we're in a very stressful point of the semester. I just looked at the data from last week, and last week, the Center for Mental Health had over 250 student appointments in that week. Okay, and so and they were able to see all of those students. All right, and that doesn't include psychiatry, which had probably about 140 appointments. Okay, so encourage them to go in. Okay, and what I'm going to say is that if they can make their way over to the center, that's much better than just getting on the phone or getting online and trying to set up an appointment. They should take the time to come over and just walk into the center and stand in front of the front desk and say that I really like to see someone, okay? And they can assist you.
This question says, my student needs academic tutoring help for linear algebra. He has already attended TA sessions, but there are many scores of students in attendance, so that is not individualized. Are there one-on-one tutoring sessions available? If so, what building or office should he go to?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a one-to-one tutoring program that's in the Clough building. On the second floor, the student can go online and schedule an appointment with an individual tutor, or they can go to the center and meet with a tutor. There is absolutely one-to-one tutoring available, okay? So in addition to the TA sessions, they should supplement that with the one-to-one tutoring program, okay? It's a very good program, and they hire extremely capable tutors. And I would say that they should do that ASAP, and that way they'll get the help that they need.
This question we're going to answer has just saying that you would like to put your email or phone number in the chat. What we're going to do is I'll have Sharon to go ahead and put that in the chat. So if you check out the chat, we'll have Dean Stein's email as well as the number for the Dean's office in the chat for you all. This next question says, our student has a very hard time getting to important classes for spring. The time slot allowed is very few hours, and she's concerned that she won't be able to get the necessary classes prepared for her major starting her sophomore year. Is there an important class that they need? Is there an important class they need? Is there anyone that can help?
Yes, the best person to speak to them about this is their academic advisor. Okay, that is the person that they should be dealing with in terms of talking through what classes they should be prioritizing for that, semester and stuff. And then if there's no seats available during phase one, what you want to do is see if they are having a kind of wait list that you can get your name on, but also know that during phase two, things move quite a bit. Okay, it's very fluid during phase two. So the students should just keep trying to get into the courses that they want. All right, it takes a little bit of work, and you have to be willing to go back to it a few times, but academic advisors, the best source of support and help as far as figuring out what courses to focus on, and then staying connected to the registration process.
This next question is, will the slides be shared for review afterward? Yes, when we post the recording within the next 24 to 48 hours, we will post the PowerPoint slide as well. That will be attached to the post in the Hive with the recording. This next question for you, Dean Stein, says, my freshman has tried to get medical care and counseling at Stamps and hasn't been able to get care. He was told counseling appointments were full until next semester and now has to go off campus for private pay to get care. What is the expectation of Stamps?
Are we talking about psychiatric appointments?
So it says he has been able to get care for counseling appointments, medical care and counseling.
All right, so medical, they should be able to just set up an appointment in the health center, okay? They're not booked for the rest of the semester, I can tell you that. They should be able to do that. Counseling appointments, I don't know if the student has come over to the Center for Mental Health, but I already just said that they're not booked for the remainder of the semester. Okay, that is not true. So they need to come back over to the Center for Mental Health and schedule an appointment.
This question says, I have a student, I'm sorry, it went up. Here you go. I have a student who's a junior in an environmental engineer course. He has been trying to find an internship for the past 2 years. I'm sorry, it keeps going with the questions go up. Yes, so he has been trying for the past 2 years to get into the co-op for next spring, but he didn't get an interview. He goes to a lot of career fairs. He sends out resumes and reaches out to career centers, but they all say that that he's going to have to keep doing what he's doing and keep trying. Any insight or help that you can provide for that?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he needs to do, and they are correct that he needs to just keep throwing his hat in the ring and keep applying, and hopefully something will come up. But the other thing that I would suggest that he do is to try to meet with one or two of his faculty. If he's had a faculty member that he's really enjoyed as an instructor, he should just try and go and have a conversation and get a faculty member's thoughts on, how to pursue this. Sometimes our faculty have connections to different organizations, different companies and stuff that they might be able to assist a student. So I would also include the faculty in that equation to try and assist in getting an internship. But the Career Center is probably the best place to continue to go back to and online to try and yield and keep applying. Okay, just keep applying, and hopefully that eventually something will, come his way.
Alrighty, this question says, it seems the students will get dorm lottery notices on November 22nd. If the student didn't get lottery, is there off-campus apartment information that we can get from Georgia Tech?
Yes. So yes, the students will be told, if they in the lottery system, if they were guaranteed housing or not. Okay. Now, the one thing I'll say is that I believe housing is between now and the end of the semester, housing is planning an off-campus apartment fair, where many of the area apartments that are out there are going to be on campus to answer questions and talk about, the services and the amenities that they offer and stuff. So the student should be looking on the housing website for when that fair will take place. I don't know exactly when it will take place. And, we do have staff in the housing office who can assist them and we also have a book, a kind of online resource, I believe, that lists all of the different properties around Georgia Tech and, that our students are living in. So there's plenty of information already there. And then we're going to have this fair for students who, probably after that date when they will be informed that they can go to and learn more about what's available to them.
This question says, what will be the last day to vacate the dorm room if the student didn't get the lottery? And
The
how
last,
okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Right. Well, the last date would be, technically, they're supposed to move out after their last final. But I would say the very last date that they should be moving out, if they're not graduating, is probably that Friday of finals week. If they need to be there until Saturday, then they need to work with their RA and get permission.
Okay, gotcha. So this question says, I had to step away for a moment. Okay, so we've answered that question. Okay, so here we are. So we had to step away for a second, but could you please let us know if more can be done about healthier options in the NAV dining hall and enough food that's actually available in the NAV dining hall?
Yeah. So, our director of dining just came to the Student Government Association meeting 2 weeks ago, a week ago Tuesday, and spent a whole 40 minutes with our students who represent students in student government, talking about dining and talking about options and what are the things that he should know about and stuff. And they gave a lot of feedback, and some of that feedback is exactly what you're talking about in terms of North Avenue and stuff. However, one of the things that he said was that any student can email him at any point and, let them know what their concerns are. And so, Sharon or Ashley, if you could put Ryan's contact information in the chat, then I think a parent also could email Ryan, or the student can, just to give some feedback and, make a point about what specifically are the issues of concern. He's very open to hearing the feedback and concerns.
That's right. Sharon just put Ryan Green's information inside of the chat for you all. This next question says, there a gap in getting maintenance requests resolved? My student's dorm has broken dryer and multiple service requests have been open since the first day of school, but there's been no update on getting that fixed.
All righty. So in that case too, what I would say is, Ashley or Sharon, if you want to put Casey Helton's contact information in the chat, then I think Casey would probably want to know that this has been ongoing, that new number of work orders have been put in, and it's still not resolved, okay? These are the kinds of issues that, you know, we can't address unless we hear about it. So let's get that in there and then they can do that. If the heat is not working in a room and the ticket was not answered, okay, you can do one of two things. You can either email housing with that, or you can email, again, Dr. Helton and just let her know that's the issue too, and she will forward that on to Housing and Residence Life for them to follow up with. Dr. Helton is the Associate Vice President for Campus Services, and Housing and Dining report up to her. So,
do they need to move out now before the spring term for those staying in the on-campus halls?
say it again, sorry.
This question says, do they need to move out now before the spring term regarding those who are staying in on-campus dormitories?
No. Our residence halls remain open, and there are students that don't leave. They don't go home. They might be an international student, and it's too far away for the number of weeks that you know, in between semesters and stuff. So the way this works here is that a student, you know, can leave, but they can also stay. All right, and you know, there'll be limited dining because we won't, you know, most of the students do leave, but there'll still be dining in between semesters and stuff. And also, they should notify their RA, okay? And the reason I say that is because it's always beneficial to know who's in the building, okay, during downtimes, just so if anything happens, we know who's around. And so they should just notify their RA and let them know that they'll be staying. It is also not uncommon for students to go home for a week or two and then come back early. They can do that also if they choose to, all right?
This question says, my second year, sorry, it keeps going up. My second year student has no confidence in her academic advisor. She has received very bad to no advice from them and probably won't graduate in a timely manner due to the advice taken. Where else can she turn for help with academic advising at this point?
Okay, yeah. So the Center for Academic Success has two exploratory advisors. These are two individuals who work with students generally. They're not connected to a college or to a major. I would move to a conversation with one of those two advisors. Okay, and again, go to the Center for you know, Academic Success website and look for the exploratory advisors and then schedule an appointment.
This question says, so on November 22nd, they will not know which housing they'll get. They are just told of the housing that they've received the housing.
That's correct. What they will be told is that based on the lottery, they're guaranteed housing. Okay, because there's a certain number. So if you meet the cutoff and you were lucky enough, then you're guaranteed housing, okay, for next year. Others will be told that they are on a waiting list. Okay, that's how that will work. But they will not know their housing assignment at that point.
This person is just helping to share with the group for those who have had concerns about internship opportunities. This person says that they're suggesting is inter-co-op applications, considering GTRI research, and to get more experience in networking, to cast a broad net, even if adjacent to the specific interests of the student. Sometimes we do have a lot of parents who actually work here, so I think that is someone who works here at Tech. So just wanted to share that comment there. This next question, just asking again for the dates. So I'm going to go back to that slide. And again, just to reiterate, the recording for this will be available within 24 to 48 hours. And again, the slides will also be attached to that post when we post the recording. Are sophomores guaranteed housing?
Yes, I'm told that this year sophomores will be guaranteed housing. We have made a commitment that rising second year students will be guaranteed housing. Yes. So provided they went into the lottery.
Got Is the student eligible to be in the dorm until the end of year one, or is it only until the end of semester one?
No. If they're in housing now, then they've signed a year-long contract, housing contract, which means that that room, that space is theirs until May. So they can be there.
So this looks like our last question here. Is it true that out-of-state students get the last pick on everything?
Not true at all. I'm not sure why that's out there, but it has nothing to do if you're in state, out of state. None of it. Okay. It has nothing to do in relation to classes, in relation to housing. That is not true. Okay. And I think it's unfortunate that it's even, that the thought is that would be true. So please know that it's not.
Yeah, another question here. When will they know which housing they are allocated to for second year students?
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. Again, great question, but I don't have the specifics of it. But I bet you if you go to the housing website, that information is going to be there as to when students would be told, rising second year students, when they would be told what their housing assignment will be. I just don't have it in front of me.
Alrighty, we've gotten through all of our questions in the chat as well as the Q&A. Dean Stein, do you have any closing remarks here?
Yeah, I just want to say that we've had a great semester, a full semester, a very busy semester. Our last home football game is tonight. We're playing North Carolina State.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I mean, that's right. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday. That is tomorrow. And, there's a lot of excitement around that. And, as we're quickly getting to the finish line. So it's a matter of just, staying the course and really following through. My advice to students when I meet with them is take it a day at a time, but just remain focused as much as you can. And, you will get to the end. So thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful, and it's always good to have this time with you. So, and those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much, Dean Stein. And I did want to recognize, Russell, your question in the very beginning about Grandparents' Day. We will be getting you all some more details about that for the spring. We're combining two events to make one larger event, and it will be on March 1st. We are working through those details now, but stay tuned to the Hive and we'll have more for you. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Dean Stein.
Bye.